I could be totally wrong. I don't think that there's too many people that are important enough to want to do all this to.
Yeah.
There's only one person, and I really mean this when I say this, and I know this is great conspiracy theory. There's only one person I believe in Hollywood who people conspired to actually take down.
I don't care who's on the list. Everybody got to go. Burn it all down.
Burn it all down.
Whoever's on that list need to go. Nobody needs to be protected. I don't care what party they are.
Nobody needs to be protecting the PDFs. And we don't care what party they are. That's a motto I could get with.
For years, people all over the world have been begging for those secret files to drop, and even the biggest voices in media were screaming for the truth. But when the records finally came out, stuffed with names no one ever expected to see, everything flipped in a heartbeat. The same folks who demanded transparency suddenly went quiet, trying to protect the very people they once praised. And that's exactly what people in the academic world are calling out right now. Charlamagne the God got caught defending Jay after some shocking ties from those files came to light.
I lit it. Yeah. They dropped the files, and would you believe?
I want to get to the Pusha T, Jay-Z, Eminem of it all, because that's what went crazy on my algorithm. I have one question. There's one question for the room. What do niggas hate more? Reading or accountability? What y'all think? I think reading too. Okay. I think reading as well. Okay. I don't understand why y'all are so quick.
One moment, Charlamagne's on the Breakfast Club shouting for full honesty, and the next, he's switching sides fast, because some of those names were too close to home. Now, everyone's asking one huge question. Will the culture actually hold Jay accountable, or will the media sweep it under the rug like it never existed? The way things look, the whole industry seems either too scared to speak or too comfortable being paid to stay silent. It's exposing just how fake and controlled some of these so-called truth tellers really are. In a perfect world, the media's job is simple: tell the truth and keep it real. When a major controversy breaks out, we expect journalists and public figures to report the facts straight. No bias, no spin. But that dream is long gone. These days, the media looks bought and paid for, with billionaires pulling every string behind the scenes. And now we're seeing the ugly side of it. The media doesn't report the truth anymore. They twist it. They bend stories, create fake angles, and protect whoever's cutting the checks. It's not about honesty, it's about loyalty to the ones funding their careers. And this whole Charlamagne and Jay-Z situation is the perfect example of that corruption in action.
I want to point out in real time how some of these switch-ups are happening here, Chad. And shout out to my man Charlamagne, this is my man. But he was on the radio, much demanded. Bring it out! We need to see it. Only the elites we didn't know and we really hated that were going to be accused and supposedly had some proof of doing the nasty. This is before the list got released. I love Charlamagne, but I got to point it out.
I think it's this. I don't care who's on the list. Everybody got to go. Nobody talking about that. My thing is this. I don't care who's on the list. Everybody got to go.
Wait, hold up a second.
All down.
Wait, I'm not hearing right. I think I got a little bit of earwax.
Charlamagne built his brand on the Breakfast Club, making his Donkey of the Day segment famous by calling out anyone acting out of line. He spent years roasting celebrities, politicians, and public figures like it was his mission. But when those records dropped and Jay's name got linked to them, the silence was loud. Suddenly, there was no Donkey of the Day for Jay. Instead, Charlamagne jumped on his podcast trying to downplay the whole thing, claiming those official reports were just unverified accounts filed to authorities. That's the exact excuse many predicted the media would use to cover for the powerful. And that's why so many believe the files were released just like that, to give them a perfect way out. Akademiks didn't waste time either. He called Charlamagne out instantly, exposing his flip-flop and showing how quick some people run from the truth when it hits too close to home. The media keeps pushing the idea that these reports don't matter just because they're unverified. But here's the thing. Many of those reports came straight from people officially listed as victims by the same authorities handling the investigation. That's not something you can just brush off. Just because the industry labels something a tip doesn't mean it's false. While Charlamagne tries to argue that Jay-Z wasn't part of those circles back in '96, he's skipping over some serious facts. Jay-Z crossed paths with the powerful mogul Harvey just a few years later, and it wasn't some random encounter. It was a big money business move.
Popping before the list was announced. And everybody who was speaking and demanding the list, they're thinking, none of my homies on there, right? This is how they communicated about said list.
In his New York mansion, but nobody talking about that. My thing is this. I don't care who's on the list. Everybody got to go.
Back in September 2016, Jay and Harvey locked in a 2-year exclusive first-look deal to produce major film and TV projects together. That deal led to huge releases like the Kalief Browder story and the Trayvon Martin docuseries. But their connection didn't start there. They'd already been seen together as far back as 2007 at a Keep a Child Alive charity event. And let's not forget the 2009 Victoria's Secret fashion show, another event that oddly keeps popping up in those files. There's even footage where a reporter asked Jay-Z a political question, and Harvey instantly jumps in to answer for him, like he was controlling the situation. People watching described it as having serious handler energy, and once you see it, it's hard to unsee. So that whole "he wasn't running with that crowd" excuse falls apart fast when you're out here signing multi-million-dollar deals and walking red carpets with the same people. You can't claim distance when there's proof of partnership flashing in every camera shot. And that's not even getting into Jay's long public connection with Puff, a man he's openly praised for years. Their friendship is well documented, but it adds another layer when you realize who's protecting who in this circle. Charlamagne tried to spin it, saying he's just tired of watching a successful black man get torn down. But let's be real, that sounds more like strategy than sympathy, especially when you look at the timing. He just inked that massive $200 million extension deal with iHeartMedia in December 2025, officially putting him in the elite 1% bracket.
See the story about Jay-Z? The woman is like, it was Jay-Z, Harvey in 1996. Reasonable Doubt came out in 1996. Like, what are we doing? It was clear, and you can see who pushes the narrative.
Once you hit that level, you know the code. You don't go after the powerful names who can shut everything down with one call. And it's not like Charlamagne hasn't learned that lesson before. Back in 2009, when he was still grinding as a radio host for Philly's 100.3 The Beat, he pulled a bold move, setting up an interview with Beanie Siegel, a former Rockefeller artist who had just dropped a scathing diss track aimed straight at Jay-Z. That 30-minute conversation blew up fast. Beanie aired out heavy claims about Jay, and the clip went viral before the weekend was over. But by Monday morning, the consequences hit hard. Charlamagne was summoned to the office and handed his walking papers. No warning, no prior issues, just told the station was moving in a different direction. Everyone knew what that meant. He crossed the wrong line, and the industry made sure he paid for it. The timing of Charlamagne's firing was so spot on that fans and blogs instantly suspected Jay had a hand in it. It was never officially confirmed, but even Charlamagne later admitted he wasn't sure if Jay played a role. And that hesitation said a lot. To many people, it seemed obvious. That moment taught Charlamagne exactly how power moves behind closed doors and why going against someone at Jay's level can cost you everything. Ever since, he's been careful, real careful. Even if he wanted to call Jay out now, maybe give him a donkey of the day for being connected to certain powerful men or for popping up in those controversial records. He knows better. That $200 million iHeartMedia deal he just signed isn't something he's willing to gamble with. He knows that crossing the wrong person could make it all vanish overnight. Now, Charlamagne's sitting comfortably in those 1% circles, thanks in part to the doors open through Jay's World. He's a regular at the UJC Social Justice Summit, an event founded by Rock Nation itself. He's teamed up with Team Rock on prison reform work and even hosted Jay for multiple exclusive interviews that kept him closely tied to that powerful network. So, let's be honest, he's not in a position to speak against him. The media isn't free, it's owned. And when the people reporting the truth are tied to the same billionaires they're supposed to expose, how can anyone trust what they say? These platforms aren't protecting the public anymore, they're protecting their paychecks, terrified of losing their spots at the top. But let's dig deeper, because this story goes way beyond one radio host or one powerful mogul.
Thing is this, I don't care who's on the list, everybody gotta go. Burn it all down. Like, that's just simple as that. Mutually assured destruction, whoever's on that list needs to.
What we're really looking at is a system-wide problem that runs through almost every major media outlet. Have you noticed how every time a major name from the 1% pops up in those records, something suddenly distracts everyone? Out of nowhere, there's a new celebrity feud, a shocking scandal, or a feel-good story about that same person's charity work. It's like clockwork. They use social justice and community reform as armor. If anyone dares to question them, voices like Charlamagne swoop in to say you're tearing down a black man. That's how they flip the script, weaponizing real community struggles to protect the very elite who built their power alongside figures like Harvey. They make you focus on the charity so you don't question the connections. It's the oldest trick in the book, sleight of hand. Look over here at the good I'm doing, while the real story hides in plain sight. Whether it's 1996, 2007, or 2016, the same pattern keeps showing up. These industries don't just want your attention, they want your blind loyalty. They want you to worship the image, never question the influence, and accept every narrative they feed you without blinking. They've even mastered how to twist the truth, labeling official documents as unverified to make you doubt your own eyes. The goal? To make anyone pointing out the patterns feel like the crazy one. But the signs are right there, bold as day. When you trace Jay's career from the start, it's almost like the clues were always hiding in plain sight, waiting for people to finally pay attention. From the moguls and artists Jay has surrounded himself with to his own questionable romantic history, everything lines up with the image of a man deeply connected to that elite inner circle. And now it's clear, Charlamagne isn't just defending Jay. He's trying to be Jay. He's studying his every move, chasing that same level of untouchable power. But here's the thing. When someone who just locked in a $200 million deal suddenly goes silent on the biggest issues shaking the culture, that silence speaks louder than any statement. It's not just hesitation, it's obedience. The message is crystal clear. They're not going to risk the bag or the relationships that keep them in those luxury rooms. These aren't real voices of the culture anymore. They're puppets for the gatekeepers. Their job is to keep the powerful protected and the public distracted. They'll do whatever it takes to make sure Jay stays sitting comfortably on his throne, no matter what those unsealed files say. And let's keep it honest, Akademiks isn't off the hook either. He plays the same game, pushing narratives that benefit his inner circle too. Just look at his connection with Drake. It's proof that even the ones claiming to call out the industry are often just serving a different master. What's wild is how this whole situation exposes the game for what it really is. Everyone talks about truth and accountability until it's their own favorites caught in the mix.
The Jay-Z hip-hop culture came out, I've never seen this. Hey, that was false. We don't believe that. That categorically never happened. How come Jay-Z just gets the blanket pass? Like never. No, Jay-Z's just, no, not J-Lo.
The minute the spotlight turns toward their circle, suddenly it's all excuses, distractions, and PR spin. The same people who built careers off calling others out are now allergic to honesty when it hits too close to home. It's becoming painfully obvious that these so-called media voices aren't here to challenge power. They're here to protect it. They trade authenticity for access, trading their platforms for invitations to private parties, networking dinners, and brand deals. It's no longer about journalism. It's about survival in an industry where silence gets rewarded and honesty gets punished. And fans are starting to wake up. People see the patterns, the selective outrage, the calculated silence, the sudden change in tone when the names involved have billionaire status. It's all too polished, too convenient, too rehearsed. Every exclusive interview feels like a performance. Every headline like it's been cleared by someone upstairs. At this point, it's not even about Jay or Charlamagne anymore. It's about the bigger machine behind them. The one that controls what stories get told, what truths stay buried, and who's allowed to speak. Because once you realize how deep that control runs, you start to understand. Real freedom of speech in this industry doesn't exist. What we're seeing isn't transparency. It's theater dressed up as truth. And the deeper you look, the clearer it gets. The industry doesn't just control the message, it controls the mess. Every scandal, every leak, every exclusive feels like part of a bigger script designed to keep the audience hooked while protecting the ones sitting at the top. It's all smoke and mirrors, and the media personalities are just the actors playing their parts. When Charlamagne praises Jay, or when Akademiks defends his favorites, it's not random, it's strategy. These moves are calculated, lined up perfectly with brand partnerships, corporate deals, and future opportunities. They're not speaking truth to power, they're auditioning for their next paycheck. And the craziest part? Most of them know exactly what they're doing. Behind closed doors, these media kings rub shoulders with the same power players they pretend to critique on air. They talk about justice and accountability while taking photos with the very billionaires who shape those systems. That's not journalism, it's performance. Meanwhile, the public's left piecing together clues, trying to figure out what's real and what's staged. Every time the truth gets too close, another trending topic pops up out of nowhere to drown it out. Coincidence? Not likely. What we're witnessing isn't just corruption, it's coordination. It's a system built to keep people distracted, divided, and entertained, so they never notice who's really pulling the strings. And the silence from voices like Charlamagne's? That's not confusion, it's compliance. Because once you're inside those billionaire circles, speaking the truth becomes the biggest risk of all. At this point, it's impossible to ignore that silence has become the new form of loyalty in the industry. Staying quiet is how you prove you belong, how you show the gatekeepers that you can be trusted to protect their image. Once someone gets that kind of money and status, honesty starts to look like a liability instead of a virtue.
Remorse. What it means from mass incarceration.
You know what? This is a labor of love from Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
That's why the biggest voices suddenly lose their courage when it's time to address real scandals. Charlamagne knows exactly what's at stake. Calling out Jay wouldn't just be controversial, it would be career-ending. He's seen what happens to anyone who breaks rank. The doors close, the endorsements vanish, and suddenly the invites stop coming. The same system that built these media giants can tear them down overnight, and every single one of them knows it. So instead of challenging the power, they play along. They fill the airwaves with jokes, gossip, and soft interviews to keep fans entertained while steering clear of the topics that actually matter. It's a distraction wrapped up as entertainment, designed to make the audience forget what's really going on behind the scenes. And the saddest part? The audience buys it, because that's how deeply this machine has trained people to think. It rewards distraction and punishes awareness. Every time someone tries to dig deeper, they're labeled as negative or crazy. But the truth doesn't disappear just because the media refuses to speak it. It's sitting there, buried under the noise, waiting for someone brave enough to stop playing along and finally say what everyone else is too scared to admit. A lot of people believe that Akademiks calling out Charlamagne isn't just about truth. It's personal, because Charlamagne's got deep ties with Jay, and there's been long-standing tension between Jay and Drake. So when AK goes after Jay, some fans think it's less about exposing corruption and more about protecting his own alliance with Drake. In that sense, AK's truth-telling might just be another version of the same bias he's accusing others of. Everyone's playing the same game, just from different sides of the board. That's the real issue with the media today. No one's truly neutral anymore. Whether it's AK, Charlamagne, or anyone else with a platform, they're all moving in ways that protect their circles, their brands, and their deals. And that's why so many viewers are starting to lose faith in the people they once trusted for the truth. Like I've said from the start, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here to show you what they don't want you to see. Because if the media won't hold the powerful accountable, then it's on us, the people, to start asking the real questions and demanding real answers. So now it's your turn. Do you think Charlamagne is just being a loyal friend? Or has he turned into another controlled voice for the elite? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what you think. And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you want more deep dives just like this.